Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 23. We're dealing with a perfect and just weight, a perfect balance, a just balance, all right? Okay. Proverbs 20:23.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 20 and verse 23. Diverse weights are an abomination unto Yahuwah.
They're what?
They are an abomination unto Yahuwah.
So when we look at these images over here, this would be an abomination unto the Most High, right? Because it's not balanced, it's not equal. It says diverse weight is an abomination. It's detestable, right? Go ahead.
And a false balance is not good.
And a false balance is not good. So what does this tell you that we have to be? We got to be balanced, right? Go back to verse 10, same chapter.
Proverbs 20 and verse 10. Diverse weights and diverse measures, both of them are like an abomination to Yahuwah. Even a child is known by his doings, whether his work be pure or whether it be right.
So it says these diverse weights and diverse measures, they're both an abomination. Even like a child with his doings, right? So we equate this thing to us. So the things that we do, the things that we profess, the way that we act, we getting put in the balance, right? And we don't want to end up like what we see in these pictures. And today we're going to see why. Let's go to Philippians 4 and 8. Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back. It's too many people that's preaching, teaching, and supposed to be walking this word that's not following protocol. Yes, you can know a couple verses. Yes, you can know scriptures. Yes, you can come to class on Shabbat. No, you don't have to eat pork. But that don't mean that you have a just and perfect weight. Just because you're doing what everybody says is okay, don't mean that you actually walking how you're supposed to be walking. It's always a step up, right? Can anybody in here say that they're perfect right now? Right? If can't nobody say it, that means it's something else that you got to be doing. You're not eating pork. You're not committing adultery. You come in a Shabbat class, right? But it got to be something else that you're not doing that's on your mind for you to say that I'm not perfect. Right? Read that out. Philippians 4 and 8.
The book of Philippians, chapter 4 and verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure.
Whatsoever things are what?
Whatsoever things are just.
Whatsoever things are just.
Whatsoever things are pure. Whatsoever things are lovely. Whatsoever things are good report. If there be any virtue.
If there be any virtue.
And if there be any praise. Think on these things.
You got to consider these things. You got to consider these things. All of these things, if it's good, if it's pure, if it's of a good report, if it's love, you got to consider these things. Read.
Those things which you have both learned and received and heard and seen in me, do, and the Most High of peace shall be with you. So if you do things that are opposite of lovely, or if you do things that are not of a good report, like the scripture say, you're doing things that resemble evil, right? That could be evil spoken of. You're not going to be at peace with the Most High. You got to do these things that are good, right? Because the word is what shows us how to get our balance. So if you ain't going according to protocol, you're going to be off. Get Exodus 20 and 7. It's our job as instructors to give warning. For you to take heed. We claim to be of the ancestry
of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, correct? We claim to know the Most High and his son, right? We claim to walk in truth and righteousness, right? How can we be professing these things if we not actually doing them? Because you putting the Most High's name on you when you say I'm doing these things. You putting his stamp on you. So when the world see you, that's who they supposed to see, right? Exodus 20:7.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 7. You shall not take the name of Yahuwah your power in vain.
You shall not do what?
Take the name of Yahuwah your power in vain.
So he put you put his stamp on you. If you going around here doing wickedly, guess what you're doing? You taking his name in vain. You putting his character at jeopardy because you got his title on you, but you acting all this which way. Somebody can say to you, yeah, man, I know Brother Greg, man, he keep the Sabbath. But man, that brother be doing this. Guess what? You already done put shame to the Most High's name. Right? You can be doing one thing, but if you not over here and you good in the other, your balance off. And he gonna come for you for that. Get on 1 Peter 4:15. We can't be speaking the Kodesh life and not living one. Go ahead, Doc.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 4 and verse 15. But let none of you suffer as a murderer.
Let none of you suffer as a what?
As a murderer.
Let none of you suffer as a murderer. It's two ways you can be a murderer in the script. Somebody give me one. You can murder with your mouth? How is that? What does the scripture specifically say? You got the one where you just flat out commit premeditated murder, right? We know that one, right? But what is the other way that the scripture say you can commit murder? What you say? Let's get 1 John 2:9. There's another way that you can actually commit murder in these scripts. And when we look at Israel as a whole, whether you know the truth or you don't, this thing right here, a lot of people are guilty of. 1 John 2:9. A lot of people are guilty of. Right? And if they don't fix it, when it's time to go before the Most High, to go before his son, your weight gonna be off. So again, let's look at this another way that you can commit murder. Go ahead.
The book of 1 John, chapter 2 and verse 9. He that says he is in the light.
He that says he is in the what?
He that says he is in the light.
Who is the light, y'all? He says, I am the light of this world. It says, if you say that you are in Hamashiach, right? We in him, he in us, and we in the Most High together, right? If you say that you are in him, that means you are in the Father, right? Go ahead.
He that says he is in the light and hate his brother.
And do what?
And hate his brother.
And you hate your brother, read.
Is in darkness, even until now.
Even until now, right? Keep going.
He that loves his brother abides in the light, and there is no occasion of stumbling in him. Of stumbling
so
in him.
When you love your brother, then you are of the light. But if you hate him, you in darkness, right? Read what you got, Doc.
1 John 3 and 15. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer.
Whosoever do what?
Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer.
So if you hate your brother, you are a what? A murderer. How many of us know that you can't just say that you love the Most High and it be true?
How many know that?
Yeah, how many of us know that? How many of us know that just because you profess that you love the Most High don't really mean that you do. Hit that get the Isaiah 29. Let's go to Isaiah 29, y'all. Oh, what you got?
And I'm gonna finish the
Yeah. We're gonna pick this up at start at verse 9.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 9. Stay yourselves and wonder. Cry you out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink.
They staggering, but not with strong drink. Right? Go ahead.
For Yahuwah have poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep.
So we got this deep sleep on us. It's up to you to get up out of this sleep, right? Go ahead.
And have closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers, the seers, has he covered.
But he covered their eyes, but that don't change the fact that you still got prophets and seers, right? So all of these people that claim to be prophets of the Most High, that claim that they can see, that don't mean that they love him. You understand what I'm saying? Drop down to verse 13.
Verse 13. Wherefore, the master said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth.
I love you, Father. I love you, brother. You my mans. I love you. Yah, I can't do nothing without you. I love you. Right? These people draw near to him with their mouth. What else?
And with their lips do honor me.
With their lips they do honor him. Go ahead.
But have removed their heart far from me.
But they remove their heart far from him. So you can talk a good game all you want to. That don't mean that you love him. Right? So now, when it goes to your brother, it's the same way. Right? Go back to 1 John 3 and 15.
1 John 3 and 15. Whosoever
19:17.
hateth his brother is a murderer. And ye know that no murderer hath eternal life.
No murderer have what?
Eternal life.
Don't nobody that hate his brother have eternal life. Why is that? How many days out of the week do you see brethren? Every day. I'm able to behold you in my eyes every day. How many times have you saw the Most High?
Never.
So the scripture says, how in the world can you love him? You ain't seen him. But you hate this man that you call your brother, and you with him every day. That's not balanced. Right? Let's get that in the law. Get Leviticus 19:17.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 17. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall in any wise rebuke your neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
Read that again from verse 17.
Verse 17. You shall not hate your brother in your heart.
So this is not nothing new. This coming from the law. He said you should not hate your brother. Read.
You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall in any wise rebuke your neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
Because if you hate your brother, you are a murderer, right? And if your brother is going astray, what you supposed to do to him? You're supposed to rebuke him. You're supposed to holler at him because you ain't supposed to suffer that sin upon him. Because if you suffer that sin upon him and you let him just do what he do, guess what you doing? You showing hate. Right? He said he showed kindness to thousands of those who love him and keep his commandments, but it's also people that hate him. Right? So it's the same way with your brother. That's not balanced. You can't hate your brother in your heart. Let's go back to 1 Peter 4. So if anybody is guilty of hating their brother in their heart, you got to fix that. It don't matter what you say out of your mouth. You got to fix that. Only you and y'all know how you feel. Fix that. Go ahead. Same verse. 15.
First Peter 4.
Yeah. 1 Peter 4:15 again.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 15. But let none of you suffer as a murderer or as
Matter of
a...
fact, hold on. Go get Deuteronomy 28:54. Give me Matthew 24 and 12. Deuteronomy 28:54 first. Because that hate that men have for their brother, that's a part of what? Anybody know?
Curse.
That's a part of the curse. Right? And what happens when we was cursed? That's because we didn't follow after the word, right? We didn't follow after his commandments. So if you got hate in your heart today, that means you still not what? You still ain't following the commandments, whether you claim you in this word or not. Right? Read that out.
Deuteronomy 28:54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother.
That's hate. Sound like to me, right? Go ahead.
And toward the wife of his bosom.
That's hate.
Toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead.
So this ain't just extended to your homeboy. This extended to your wife. You can't hate your wife. This extended to your children. You can't hate your seed. We do understand this thing, right? We have to be claiming this life of being Kodesh, but also living it. Right? Get Matthew 24 and 12.
The book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that
It says, but because what shall abound?
because iniquity shall abound,
What's iniquity? Sin. Because sin shall abound to what?
the love of many shall wax cold.
So this was a part of the prophecy. If the love is waxing cold, then what do you have there? Hate. So you have murder. Right? That scripture in go back to 1 Peter 4 and 15. It told you, don't be a murderer. Don't go out and premeditate no murder, and don't hate your brother in your heart. Both of these are sins unto death. We know that, right? Okay. 1 Peter 4 and 15.
1 Peter chapter 4 verse 15. But let none of you suffer as a murderer or as a thief.
Let none of you suffer as a murderer or as a what?
Or as a thief.
Or as a thief.
Or as an evildoer.
So hold up right there. It says don't suffer as a thief. Let me ask y'all a question, man. And the only reason I'm asking y'all this and going into this is because it's been, in my life, it's had an effect on me, right? How many of y'all lie to the government?
Before we came into the truth.
I'm talking about right now.
Oh.
Bridge card, anybody? Unemployment, anybody? Anything that you tell the government and you lie to them about. I know a lot of us had that feeling like, oh, well, they done robbed us. We can do that. You know what I'm saying? We get this money. How many of y'all know that that's not balanced? Didn't Hamashiach pay taxes?
Then what is over to them, give it to them, right?
Give it to them. It's theirs. Do you know what you actually doing by lying to them so you can receive more benefits? And whatever it is, insurance, jobs, whatever. Do you know what you actually doing? What you say, Op?
Balling out, son.
You balling out. Guess where your reward gonna be at? Right here. Get Matthew 16:26. Right. We gotta realize that you don't just supposed to uphold the truth to one another, but to your enemies as well. When it come to bridge card, whatever it is, if you lying to these people, you know what you showing? That you don't trust in Yah. You showing that you don't trust that he can provide for you, so you got a lot of these people to get what you want. That ain't balanced. I told my wife a week ago, whatever I'm owed, I'm paying it all. We fixing everything. You know why? Because I don't need them. I need Yah. So whatever it is that you got that you lying to these people about so you can receive, whatever it is, fix it. Because ain't no sense of lying to them. And this is why. Get that out. 16:26.
The book of Matthew, chapter 16 and verse 26. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
So we know that we ain't gaining the whole world from these people, but we getting a pretty penny. Right? It's not profitable for you. Is going to hell worth $200 on food stamps? $300 on unemployment? Is it worth it? Is it really worth? Like, when you put these things in retrospect, like, is it really worth it? Like, you get to Judgment Day and you like, man, I done kept the Shabbat. I don't eat no pork. I don't hate my brother. None of that. Woo, I'm good. You know you told these people that you don't stay over here.
Jimmy, you lied on your taxes.
You know you consciously lied to these people after you knew you weren't supposed to. Is that really worth it? That ain't worth it at all to me. Ain't nothing worth me going to hell. Family nor friends. Not even a little white lie. Because what you doing? You stealing. You know that, right? That's a commandment. You shall not steal, right? It's not worth it. Get 1 Timothy 6 and 7. We got to make these things right, man. And that's just to get your balance. It ain't no sense of doing everything right and then coming down to this and say, oh, well, I dropped the ball. That can cause you to go to the pit. That can cause you to burn forever. I don't care who take it no type of way. I know some of these people out here preach, oh, you can lie to them. No, but it's a lie indeed. First Timothy 6 and 7.
1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 7. For we brought nothing into this world.
You did what?
We brought nothing into this world.
You ain't bring nothing here. That $200 you gonna get on bridge card, that $300 you ain't bring that into the world. You ain't come out the womb with no $100 clutching in your hands. Go ahead.
And it is certain we can carry.
It's what?
It is certain.
It's a possibility.
It is certain.
It is certain that what?
That we can carry nothing out.
You ain't carrying it out when you leave. What's the point of going to hell for that? This is small things to us, but this is big in the sight of the Most High. This is a test of your faith. You gonna lean on me or you gonna lean on them? He told you, don't go after your own understanding. Oh, man, I'm good. The Father ain't looking at that no type of way. Man, yes, he is. Because it's a lie. Get Deuteronomy 28:48. We got to go right back to the curses. Lying to these people ain't going to get us nowhere. Stealing from these people ain't going to get us nowhere. I'm going to give you an example in my life, right? So, we had the bridge card situation, and I'm gonna put my wife on blast. I told her not to lie to these people about where we stayed. So when they called, she gave them a fake address, like literally fake, like. And
wait, it wasn't a fake address.
What was it?
Fake name.
A fake name. Fake name. Right address, fake name. What was the name? You remember it?
722 Henry Belafonte.
I'm talking about a whole, yes, a whole fake name. Like, ain't no pulling this up in the system type name. Right?
You never know.
See what I'm saying? So, in doing so, thinking that she's going to receive more benefits, how much did you end up getting a month?
$25.
You can't feed me off that in 2 days. So lying is not going to get you nowhere. You might think it is, but it ain't going to get you nowhere.
It came up and it was a mansion. They live good. They
Right. Lying not going to get you nowhere. Sorry I had to put you out there, but this is part of what made me start to go in this direction. Because like I said, we've been changing everything. I don't care whatever it was that was lied about. Hey, yo, I ain't got it right now. When I get it, so I can put $5 on it a month. You know what I'm saying? Something. The whole thing is, I'm being honest. The whole thing is we can't lie to these people, man. These bill collectors calling you, right? You know what they calling you for? What they calling you for?
Money.
For money, that's what? That's what? Don't the scripture say, "Oh no man, anything"?
Sometimes.
If it's old, right? These bill collectors are calling you because you owe. Guess who else gonna be calling you because you owe? You gonna turn down the phone call from the Most High? Or what about when Hamashiach say, "Hey man, what about that vow you vowed to me? What that's at? Oh man, I'm gonna get to you on the 33rd."
So you said this wrong to file bankruptcy?
That's legal.
Private government. You can do it if you in debt.
That's legal.
But they legalize that. They say you can do it. We talking about, so you can't lie to these people about where you stay. They take people to jail for that. They fine you for that type of stuff, right? But you got to remember, like you actually lying. You doing yourself a disservice with the Most High. You putting stains on your garment that ain't got to be there. We already are in turmoil. Why add more onto yourself with the Father? You read Deuteronomy 28:48? Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shall you serve your enemies, which Yahuwah shall send against you.
You shall do what?
You shall serve your enemies, which Yahuwah shall send against you.
Dang, I got to work this 9 to 5. Dang, I got to pay these taxes. What you gonna serve your enemies in?
In hunger.
And what?
In hunger.
Bridge card.
And in thirst. And in nakedness.
And in what?
And in nakedness.
And in nakedness.
And in want of all things.
And in want of all things. I don't care if it's Section 8, whatever it is. If they telling you how much asking you how much you make, and you tell them some bold answer, you are lying. And you gonna have to pay for that. That's real. He told you in the curses that we're gonna have to serve these people in hunger, thirst, and nakedness, and want of all things. He put you there. You gonna take yourself out of punishment? Nah. Let's get Matthew 6 and 24.
People call it little coon.
I'll be that coon.
I just tell them to get off my phone.
But honestly, I mean, like I say, I really don't care about what nobody say. It's just real talk. I would rather struggle on this earth than to be sent to hell because I was living it good. You know what I'm saying? We gotta look. Hamashiach came from his glory, his esteem, to be with us. Under subjection to Romans, to Esau. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have like, you know how they at your job, you know what I'm saying, some bosses say, "I'm not gonna make you do nothing that I wouldn't do." Right? He ain't either. He done been through the lowest of the lows. He done went through more than what we gonna go through in this earth. You know what I'm saying? Don't give away your salvation for a little white lie. All right? Read what you got, huh? Yep, 6 and 24.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6 and 24. No man can serve two masters.
No man can do what?
No man can serve two masters.
Because of what?
For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yahuwah and Mammon.
Because that ain't balanced. He want all your love. You can't serve money. You can't be doing this thing because you want the cash. Lies ain't worth it, right? Keep going.
Therefore I say unto you, Take no thought for your life.
Take no thought for your what?
Take no thought for your life.
Uh-huh.
What you shall eat,
Uh-huh.
or what you shall drink,
Uh-huh.
nor yet for your body, for you shall put on, or what you shall put on.
Uh-huh.
Is not the life more than meat?
Is not your life more than what you put into your belly? Like my aunt be calling people, you got a belly god. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how we look at people outside of this word that still holding on to eating unclean food? You're like, man, you can't get that up. It's a belly god. Don't listen to that thing. Right? Go ahead.
And the body, then raiment?
Uh-huh.
Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns. Yet your father in Shamaim feeds them.
Uh-huh.
Are you not much better than they?
Ain't you much better than a bird? Let me ask y'all a question. What do this go back to? Take no thought for what you gonna eat, for what you gonna wear. What this take us back to? When they was where? When they was in the wilderness. We didn't have nothing. The only thing that we had was our faith in the Most High. We ate. We survived. That's the same thing with us. You don't need these people. You know what I'm saying? If you faithful to the Most High, these people going to be wanting to give you stuff. You know what I mean? But we got to clean it up. That was it on that? Go ahead.
Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit unto his stature? And why take you thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say to you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these.
So he's comparing one of the wisest kings in Israel, one of the most decked out, right, to a lily, and said that Solomon wasn't even arrayed like this lily, which means it ain't nothing for the Most High to get you what you need. That's a light matter to him. So ain't no sense of professing that you Kodesh and then you gonna turn around and lie, right? 1 Timothy 6 and 10. Read verse 33.
Verse 33. But seek you first the kingdom of Yahuwah and his righteousness.
Seek him first and his righteousness, and what else?
And all these things shall be added unto you.
So you ain't got to be looking to try to get no extra money on the bridge card by lying and I stay here, I stay there. You ain't got to be on unemployment talking about, nah, I ain't found work. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for work and you ain't really looking. Ain't no sense of doing that, man. If you seek the Most High first, he gonna provide it for you. Ain't that right, Jerome? You got you a new job, right? How many times you have to lie to get it? None.
Actually, I turned one down and want me working on Sabbath. So I got this one.
See what I'm saying? Because he's seeking the kingdom first and the righteousness of the Most High. Right? Ain't no sense of going that route. 1 Timothy 6 and 10.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6 and verse 10. For the love of money.
For the what?
For the love of money is the root of all evil.
The love of money is the root of all evil. Whether you say that you don't love it, you just trying to provide for yourself. Man, look. That's the root of evil. Sin is evil. So if you lying to get money, that's love. That's some type of love for it. Let's look at an example of this in the script where somebody had to lie to get what they wanted. Anybody know where I'm going? Anybody know?
They lied about birthright.
Huh? Yep. Let's get 2 Kings, chapter 5. I'm be through with y'all on this money thing. I just wanted to nip that in the bud. It ain't worth it. You hear that, Diamond?
What?
2 Kings chapter 5. Pick it up at the first verse.
2 Kings chapter 5 and verse 1. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him Yahuwah had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor. But he was a leper.
So this man was plagued with leprosy, right? But he was a mighty man. So he gonna try to extend his arm out so somebody can help him with this leprosy, right? Go ahead.
And the Syrians had gone out by companies and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid. And she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said unto her mistress, would you go, with the Most High, my master, work with the prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy.
Who was this prophet that was in the land at the time? Say it again. I heard it. Elisha, right? So she said, hey, I know this dude, man. You go ahead and holler at him, man. He can hit you up, right? Verse 6.
Verse 6. And he brought the letter of the king of Israel, saying, now, when this letter is come unto you, behold, I have therewith sent Naaman, my servant, to thee, that you mayest recover him of his leprosy.
Okay, verse 8.
Verse 8. And it was so, when Elisha, the man of Elohim, had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes.
So what happened was, they brought the letter to the king of Israel at the time and said that he needed to be cleansed of this leprosy. And the king was like, you think I'm the Most High? I can't cleanse no leprosy? Right? So he all in disarray, right? But Elisha came on and said, hey, don't worry about that. That's a light thing, right? Go ahead.
The king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, wherefore have you rent your clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times.
So he told him, he said, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times. Now this man done came all the way from his land to go see Elisha about his leprosy, and Elisha tells him, hey man, all you got to do is go over to the Jordan and wash yourself 7 times. What would be your first reaction if somebody told you that? I done had leprosy all this time, and you tell me to go and get in the water? What's going to be your reaction? You're going to be like, it's a lie, man. What?
Dirty water at that. That's how I perceive.
Right.
Dirty water.
Keep going.
And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times.
Now, Elisha didn't even go. It was his servant, his messenger. Right? Go ahead.
Now your flesh shall come again unto you, and you shall be clean. Now Naaman was wroth.
He was mad. He was pissed off, right? Go ahead.
And he went away and said, behold, I thought he would surely come out to me.
At least he gonna come and see me. Right? Go ahead.
And stand and call on the name of Yahuwah his power, and strike his hand over the place, and recover the leper.
So he thinking that this is supposed to be this mighty thing that's supposed to be done, right? Go ahead.
Hold on. He's looking at it like they would do in church.
Right.
He wanted him to come down and say, by the power invested in me. See what I'm saying? We don't want the simplicity. The simple stuff. Like this right here.
Right.
I had to say it.
No doubt. That's the same thing with Hamashiach. Hamashiach told him, hey man, he fulfilled that. He told him, he said, go dip yourself in the water. Right? These people looking for these crazy miracles, right? Keep going.
Are not Abana and Pharpar, rivers in Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel?
Ain't these 2 waters better than the one you told me to go to? This stuff dirty. Out of all water, you gonna go tell me to go in this dirty water to clean me? You got to be out your mind, right? But what other choice do this man have? Go ahead.
May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came near and spake unto him. And he said, my father, if the prophet had bid you to do some great thing,
If he told you to go and jump up and down on the mountain and flip 12 times and fall off and you was going to be saved, you'd have been all right, right? Go ahead.
would you not have done it? How much rather then, when he saith to you, wash and be clean?
You're like, man, he telling you something. He telling you, dude, this is so simple. This is so easy. All you got to do is do it. Right? You want him to give you this hard task to do or something? Right? Go ahead.
Then he went down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of the Most High. And his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean.
And he was clean. Let's go to let's get Matthew 9 and 5. John 9 and 5 first. We know we got to put Hamashiach in here because he came to fulfill the law and the prophets, right? So we know that he did this thing, right? How many knew we was going here? Anybody knew? You knew?
I had an idea.
You had an idea.
The book of John, chapter 9 and verse 5. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of spittle. And he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay, and said unto him, Go and wash in the pool of Siloam.
That sound a little similar, right? Go ahead.
Which is by interpretation sent. He went his way, therefore, and washed, and came, seeing. The neighbors, therefore, and they which before had seen him that he was blind, said, Is not this that sat and begged? Some said, This is he. Others said, He is like him.
He looked like him. I don't know if that's really him. You know that's him.
That look like little lanky James.
You know what I'm saying? That look. I don't know if that's him, man. That's him. Go ahead.
But he said, I am he. Therefore said they unto him, How were your eyes open?
How he do it? Right. Go ahead.
And he answered and said, A man that is called Yahushua made clay and anointed mine eyes, and said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And when I went and washed, I received sight.
Go ahead.
Then said they unto him, Where is he? He said, I know not.
Go ahead.
They brought to the Pharisees him that aforetime was
So
blind.
now he done went before the Pharisees, right? Go ahead.
And it was the Sabbath day when Yahushua made the clay and opened his eyes. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. He said unto them, He put clay on my eyes. I washed, and I see.
Right.
Therefore,
This is so simple, right? He just put clay on my eyes, and I went in water, and I can see you now, right? So simple. And they like, hold up, man. That can't be that. That ain't that easy, right? Read.
Therefore, said some of the Pharisees, This man is not of the Most High.
What? He done made this man see. And they said, this can't be a man of Yah. Read.
Because he kept not the Sabbath
Because
day.
he done healed on the Sabbath. Right? Go ahead.
Others said, How can a man that is a sinner do such miracles?
What? Read.
And there was a division among
So
them.
there was a division among them, right? What the blind man say?
They said unto the blind man again, What say you of him, that he hath opened your eyes? He said, He is a prophet.
Wasn't Elisha a prophet? He had to fulfill this thing, right? So now we got the part where his messenger say, "Hey man, what you would have rather? Ain't you glad that he told you to do this simple thing, right? Get Matthew 9 and 5. You wanted him to do something extraordinary or something? He had to fulfill that. I got something for you next week.
The book of Matthew, chapter 9 and verse 5. For whether it's easier to say, Your sins be forgiven you, or to say,
Matter of fact. Yeah. Read verse 3. No, read verse 2.
Verse 2. The book of Matthew, chapter 9 and verse 2. And behold, they brought to him a man sick of the palsy, laying on a bed, And Yahushua, seeing their faith, said unto the sick of the palsy, Son, be of good cheer. Your sins are forgiven you.
That's all he did, was just told him, your sins forgiven you, right? You know somebody had to say something, right? Go ahead.
And behold, certain of the scribes said within themselves, This man is blasphemous.
So he's saying he done blaspheme, man. He can't just forgive this man of his sins. It ain't that easy, right? Read.
Then Yahushua, knowing their thoughts, said, Wherefore think you evil in your heart?
What you thinking evil for? You got something to say, say it. Right? Read.
For whether it's easier to say, Your sins be forgiven you, or to say, Arise and walk.
So he said, what's going to be easy? What you want me to do? Tell him to go and walk? You know, or tell him his sins forgiven? It's easy. It don't matter. It's easy either way. It's not about the doing all of this flashy stuff. He did that stuff. But it's not about all of this flashy stuff. And when the anti-Messiah stepped on the scene, a lot of people was going to be going for this flashy stuff. You know what I'm saying? You have to believe in the simplicity that's Hamashiach. Not all of this, oh man, look, he done rained down fire from the Shamayim. The anti gonna do that. So you gonna rock with him because he can do the miracles? We know the Christian church gonna fall in for it. Big time. You know, this is around the time where they just coming to find out he black and everything. You know what I'm saying? So they see a black man raining down fire from heaven, they gonna be like, whoa! We found it. We gotta make sure we ain't a part of that number. Right? Let's go back to 2 Kings, chapter 5. Now, we still dealing with this thief, right? You know, we had to throw some of Hamashiach up in there, though, right? Still dealing with this thief. Give verse 16.
Verse 16, 2 Kings chapter 5 and verse 16. But he
Matter
said,
of fact, verse 15, I'm sorry.
Verse 15, and he returned to the man of the Most High, he and all of his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, Behold, now I know that there is no power in all the earth but in Israel. Now therefore, I pray you, take a blessing of your servant.
So he like, look, man, I got to give you something for what you just did for me. I really appreciate it. Read.
But he said, As Yahuwah lives, before whom I stand, I will receive none.
So he done made a vow pretty much. He like, look, I'm not taking nothing from you. I did the job that the Father gave me to do. Read.
And he urged him to take it, but he refused.
He refused it. Read.
And Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray you, be given to your servant 2 mules, burden of earth? For your servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto Yahuwah.
So he like, look, man, can I just give you this? I ain't gonna sacrifice to no other gods. No, I gotta give you something, right? Read.
In this thing, Yahuwah pardon your servant, that when my master goes into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leans on my hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon. When I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, Yahuwah pardon your servant of this thing.
He did what?
Yahuwah pardon your servant of this
He
thing.
just forgive this man's transgression. Y'all see that, right? Go ahead.
And he said unto him, Go in peace. So he departed from him a little way.
But go ahead, verse 20.
But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha,
So this same servant, right, did what?
the man of the Most High, said, Behold, my master hath spared Naaman this Syrian, in not receiving at his hand that which he brought.
Man, you mean to tell me this Syrian gonna go free? He ain't gonna give us nothing? Read.
But as Yahuwah lives, I will run after him and take somewhat of him.
I got to go get a piece of that. My man's was rich, you see? You know what I'm saying? I got to go get me a piece, right? So what he do?
So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him, and said, Is all well?
So he like, yo, we just left. You know, everything all right? You good? Read.
And he said, All is well. My master hath sent me, saying, Behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray you, a talent of silver, and 2 changes of garments.
Man, everything all right? Yeah, everything good, you know. We have some stuff come up, you know what I'm saying? I done moved over here. in this vacant house over here, and you know, this is my address, and you know, don't nobody stay here with me. I need help. You know what I'm saying? Y'all hook a brother up, right? Verse 23.
And Naaman said, "Be content, take 2 talents. And he urged him and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags, and with 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him."
So what did he just do from this dude?
So
He stole from him, because Elisha said, "Don't take. We ain't taking none of that, right?" And he lied to get it, right? Read.
and when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand, and bestowed them in the house, and he let the men go, and they departed.
Let's see a judgment to what happens to this guy, and that you have to face with if you continue to do these things. All right, go ahead.
But he went in and stood before his master. And Elijah said unto him, where you coming from, Gehazi? And he said, Your servant went nowhere.
Oh, I ain't going nowhere, man. You know, I just stepped out for a minute. Where you coming from, man? I know what you just did. I'm a prophet. You done seen this. Read.
And he said unto him, Went not mine heart with you, when the man turned again from his chariot to meet you? Is it a time to receive money, and to receive garments, and olive yards, and vineyards, and sheep, and oxen, and men servants, and maid servants?
So, we in this captivity. This a time to be lying about this stuff? You want the 501c3? You want to make $20 million? You want this what time we in, right? We supposed to be serving the Most High, waking these people up, and this the tip you on? Read.
The leprosy, therefore, of Naaman.
The what?
The leprosy, therefore, of Naaman.
So now this leprosy that was on Naaman, read.
Shall cleave unto you,
For how long?
and your seed forever.
Forever.
And he went out from his presence, a leper, as white as snow.
So is it safe to say that you could be a leper at heart? You don't have the leprosy on you physically, but is it safe to say that you are a leper at heart? Once you steal, once you lie to get certain things, whether it be from your brother or from the government, is it safe to say that? Let's get Leviticus chapter 13 and 44. He called this man a leper, and he said this was going to be upon his seed for how long?
Forever.
Okay. Let's see something. Let's see something. Leviticus 13 and 44.
Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 44. He is a leprous man. He is unclean.
He is what?
He is unclean.
He is unclean. Go ahead.
The priest shall pronounce him utterly unclean.
Who was the priest?
Mashiach.
Mashiach. He gonna pronounce this man unclean, right? Read.
His plague is in his head.
Uh-huh.
And the leper in whom the plague is, his clothes shall be rent, and his head bare, and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip.
Hold on now. It says the plague is in his head, right? What is the heart symbolizing in the scriptures? Your mind. Go ahead.
And the leper whom the plague is, his clothes shall be rent,
Uh-huh.
and his head bare,
Uh-huh.
and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip, and shall cry, Unclean, unclean.
Uh-huh.
All the days wherein the plague shall be in him, he shall be defiled.
He shall be what?
He shall be defiled.
But he is what?
He is unclean.
He shall dwell where?
He shall dwell alone.
Uh-huh.
Without the camp shall his habitation be.
So he's going to be alone, right? So now we look at this man that just received this leprosy. It was for forever, right? Let's go to Ephesians 5 and 5. Ephesians 5 and 5, and we can close this portion of that 1 Peter 4. I know this was kind of a long segment, but I learned something. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 5, because this man was unclean. If you have leprosy, you're unclean. Whether you be a leper of the skin, the outside, a leper of the heart, right? You are unclean, right? Our goal is to make it to the Shamaim, right? Our goal is to stay in the camp of the Hamashiach when he ruling, right? Read that out.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 5. For this you know, that no whoremonger.
You know what?
That no whoremonger. Or unclean person.
Nor an unclean person, read.
Nor covetous man, who is an idolater, have any inheritance.
Have any what?
Have any inheritance in the kingdom of Hamashiach and of the Most High.
So we need to take this in consideration. You don't want to be a part. You don't want to be that man. You want to have an inheritance in the kingdom, right? So we got to do according to the protocol. Don't lie to these people to get benefits. Don't lie to these people to get more food stamps. It's not worth it, right? Let's get Galatians 6 and 7. Because that's a false balance. You can't be saying, I done did this, I done did that. And then you messing around and doing things that's not a yah. It's a false balance. Galatians 6 and 7.
The book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 7. Be not deceived. Yahuwah is not mocked. For whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap.
So if you sowing wickedness, you're going to reap wickedness. Read.
For he that sows to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that sows to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting.
So we ourselves are supposed to be living in the Spirit. We're supposed to be walking in the Spirit, right? If we mess around and sow something to the flesh, we do a little something, we should be straight, right? I know it's a trick question.
No.
Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 18. 18:26. That's the whole thing about us being perfect. It ain't no sowing to the flesh once you walking after the Spirit. It ain't no going back. Ezekiel 18:26.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 18 and verse 26. When a righteous man turns away from his righteousness and comes iniquity and commits iniquity and dies in them, for his iniquity that he hath done shall he die.
So once you walking righteously, once you commit iniquity, that your righteousness is forgotten. But this same man that's wicked, go ahead.
Again, when the wicked man turns away from his wickedness that he hath committed, and does that which is lawful and right, he shall save his soul alive.
So we already know. We are already a part of those wicked men that turn away to doing righteously. We can't go back. Ain't no more room for you to go back. Ain't no plan or playing on the fence. You got to have a perfect and just weight in this thing. Get Deuteronomy 25 and 13. Matter of fact, get verse 15 in that. Deuteronomy 25 and 15.
Devarim, chapter 25 and verse 15. But you shall have a perfect and just weight.
Shall have what?
A perfect and just weight. A perfect and just measure.
A perfect and just weight. A perfect and just measure.
Shall you have. That the days may be lengthened in the land which Yahuwah your Elohim gives you.
So what land is he going to give us? He's going to give us Israel back. He's going to give us our land back, right? So in order for you to get there, he says that your balance, your weight got to be what? It got to be, you can't be looking like that going up to the Most High. You can't be looking like this. That ain't just. That ain't perfect. Right? If you were buying let's say if you was trading silver for gold, right? In order for it to be in an equal amount, you had to weigh that thing out, right? You couldn't cheat nobody. You couldn't say, oh, I'm going to give you this much when it really is this much, right? I want y'all to keep that in your mind because there's a price that was put on us. Y'all know that, right? Hold that in your mind. Let's get Matthew 23:23. Let's look at some more off balance. Right? Book of Matthew 23 and 23.
The book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites.
What?
Hypocrites.
Before we even get into the crux of this, he says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees." Now, what were the scribes and Pharisees supposed to be doing? Following, teaching the laws, right? So for him to call them a hypocrite, that means what? You ain't doing it. Your balance off, man. You in a leader position and your balance off. That's scary. That's why he say, "Woe to them," right? Get Romans 2 and 21. Romans 2 and 21. Because that's what's wrong with the leaders in Israel today. They balance off. You know what I'm saying? Romans 2 and 21.
The book of Romans, chapter 2 and verse 21. You therefore, which teach another, teach you not yourself?
Don't you teach yourself what you teaching these people? Read.
You that preach, a man should not steal. Do you steal?
You gonna steal after you tell somebody not to steal? You gonna hate your brother after you telling somebody not to hate their brother? You gonna commit iniquity after you telling somebody don't sin? You professing that you Kodesh, and then you go and break Shabbat? Your danger is way worse than the danger of the person you telling it to. Go ahead.
You say
How's that?
you that says a man should not commit adultery, do you commit adultery? You that abhor idols, do you commit sacrilege? You that make your boast of the law.
I'm keeping the law. I'm in the truth. I'm in the law. Read.
Through breaking the law dishonors the Most High.
You claiming it, but you gonna break it. You dishonoring the Most High. Read.
For the name of Yahuwah is blasphemed.
Is what?
Is blasphemed.
That take us back to Exodus 20 and 7 where he said, "Don't take my name in vain." He said, "Now you blaspheming." Read.
Is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written.
This is you doing this as it is written. You are a part of the blasphemy that these people looking at us like they ain't nothing. They know who we is, but they see that we ain't amounting to nothing because we ain't walking what we say we supposed to be walking. Ain't no way in the world we supposed to have people, these camps, online, cussing people out, doing this. They like, man, look at these buffoons. Look at these clowns. They supposed to be professing the word. I can't rock with that. I done have people at my job tell me, "Hey man, I don't know about that being no Israelite stuff." I said, y'all crazy. And y'all mean to people. You may have just caused somebody to turn away from the Father. Your destruction, your woe is going to be way worse than the person you're doing it to. Go back to Matthew 23:23.
Matthew chapter 23 and verse 23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint.
You do what?
You pay tithe of mint.
Christian church, they do what? They paying their tithes. But what?
And anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
Now let me ask y'all a question. Who is this speaking right now? Oh, Mashiach, right? He says they pay what?
You pay tithes and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
Go ahead.
Judgment, mercy, and faith.
Read.
These ought you to have done, and not leave the other undone.
Let me ask y'all a question. This is just a question. He said you left these other matters undone, but you're doing this one. Which tell you that everything that he spoke about in there is something you're supposed to do, right? I want y'all to ponder on that. We're going to keep on moving. He says, so you pay tithes of cumin, right? But you omitting the weightier matters of the law, your balance off, which is what? Judgment, right? Get Deuteronomy 25:1. And that's a lot what's wrong with our elders, our camp leaders, preachers, teachers. Your judgment is off, man. That's the most horrible thing you can be, a leader that don't know how to be a leader. That don't know how to execute judgment when it's time to. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25 and verse 1. If there be a controversy between men.
If there be a controversy between men is going at it about anything. Right? Read.
And they come unto judgment. And the judges may judge them. That the judges may judge them. Then they shall justify the righteous.
They shall what?
They shall justify the righteous.
He told you to justify the righteous and do what?
And condemn the wicked.
So he told you to justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. Get Proverbs 17:15. Justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. But you know what's sad about these people in the world of Israel? They do the opposite, right? You know about that, right?
Absolutely.
You know about that? Heard the thing too. Sad thing about it is, if as being leaders, we're supposed to condemn the wicked, right? But a lot of people is doing the reverse. Read what you got, huh? Proverbs 17:15.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 17 and verse 15. He that justifies the wicked and he that condemns the just.
They are both what?
Even they both are abomination to Yahuwah.
Your balance is off. If you justifying the wicked and condemning the just, your balance is off. You know what? Remember when we was talking about these TV shows and all this and that? How many of y'all get so caught up in the TV show? Like, who watch Empire? Raise your hand. You watch Empire? Who watch Empire? You gotta be scared. You gotta be scared. So, when, what's his name? Lucius, right? When he messed around with his ex-wife, how many of y'all was happy? Yeah, you can raise your hand. You gotta be. Y'all was happy about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what you did, right?
I mean, but
You know what you did, right?
he didn't marry the lady, and that's still
Did-
his wife.
Yeah,
And then spouse to her.
Oh.
Do you know what you did? You justified the wicked. I seen posts talking, the sister, homegirl face was like this. You justifying the wicked. And you condemning this woman for being a wife or engaged. Regardless of the situation, look what TV has caught you up in. Committing sin. So small, but you did it. Reality TV, period, do that. You know what I'm saying? Love and hip hop lovers. Right? Oh man, you know, what's her name? Sin and Erica, they look like a good couple together. Two women. And one of them name is ironically Sin. And they two women. That's a whole nother matter. But these are the things. These are the things that you can get caught up into. You know what I'm saying? And don't even realize what you're doing. Right?
But it's just television, right?
It's just what?
Uh-oh, okay. I'm saying the wrong thing. Make me right. Real quick, yeah, okay.
Wash me, make me clean.
Okay.
We got to realize these things. Go back to Matthew 23:23. Something as small as that's in the back of our mind, and we don't even even back to you got one of the sons that's a gay singer, and people is rooting for this dude to be the man. Like, what are you doing? Matthew 23:23. We got to do better. We are in grave danger as a people if we don't fix what's wrong with us. We got to do better. Matthew 23:23.
The book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law.
So they done omitted what?
judgment,
They done omitted judgment.
mercy,
Mercy. We know that the Most High's mercy endure forever, right? But what's the most important? Go ahead. What's the last one? The most important, along with keeping the law, is what?
and faith.
And faith.
These ought you to have. These ought you to have done, and not leave the other undone.
Because that's a false balance, right? You can't do one and then not do the other. That's a false balance, right? Get Hebrews 11 and 1. Let's look at how important faith is to your balance. Trusting in the Most High is important to your balance. Let's look at that.
The book of
Romans
Hebrews.
8:24.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse
You
1.
know this verse, right? Go ahead.
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for.
It's the substance of things what?
Is the substance of things hoped for.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Read.
The evidence of things not seen.
The evidence of things not seen. Go to Romans 8 and 24. The substance of things hoped for, right?
Romans 8 and 24. For we are saved by hope.
By what?
By hope.
We are saved by hope. We saved by faith. You understand that? Faith without works is dead. So we're not going to eliminate the law with that. Right? But it says we are saved by hope. Read.
But hope that is seen is not hope.
Hope that is seen is not hope. Right? Going back to this bridge card thing. You know that they're going to give you extra money by lying to them. That's not hope. Hope is, man, I know he said if I keep these commandments, then I'm going to be in this kingdom. I ain't never seen the kingdom. I ain't never seen the Father. I ain't never seen the Son, but I know it's going to happen. I hope it's going to happen. I got faith that it's going to happen. The stuff that you see, that ain't hope. Read.
For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for it?
What's the point of you hoping for it if you see it, if it's right in your face? You know, they say if heaven was a mile away, I'll pack my bags and go. A lot of people probably wouldn't even go.
Too strict up there, man.
To be honest with you, a lot of people wouldn't go. It'd be down the street. Oh, one day, man, I'm gonna go down the street, man. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't right. Read.
But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it.
But then we with patience wait for it. Ain't that one of the fruits of the Spirit? Go ahead.
Likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities. For we know not what we should pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself maketh intercession.
It make a what?
Maketh intercession.
Who made intercession for us? And he sent a comforter, which was the Ruach, to you when in his absence, right? That's making another intercession for you, right? Go ahead.
For us with groanings which cannot be uttered.
I know people like to twist this. I don't say people like to twist this up and say this is speaking in tongues, because the Spirit is making intercession, and you just babbling, and you know the things that can't be uttered. He understands. That's not what this is talking about. The things that you don't even that you don't even within yourself think to ask for. If you got the Kodesh Spirit, it's gonna make that intercession for you. That's only if you got it, because it take work, it take balance to get it. Go ahead.
And he that searcheth the hearts.
He that do what?
Searcheth the hearts.
He that search the hearts. Read.
Knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercessions for the saints according to the will of the Most High.
Get Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Get Proverbs 26 and 10. Matter of fact, no. Get Jeremiah 17:9 first. You get Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. So we go into Jeremiah 17:9. He said he searched the hearts, right? So if your heart look like that right there, what he gonna do with you? He gonna destroy you.
Jeremiah 17 and 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?
You can't know it, right? But the Most High search it, right? Go ahead.
I, Yahuwah, search the heart.
He do what?
I search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways.
He gonna give you according to your what?
Your ways.
He gonna give you according to your ways. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. He gonna give you according to your ways. So if you got an unjust weight, if you got an imperfect weight, he gonna do accordingly to you, right? Go ahead.
And according to the fruit of his doing.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
26 and 10.
Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of men. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment.
He gonna bring every work into judgment, read.
With every secret thing.
With every secret thing.
Whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Let's get Exodus 17 and 9. We about to wrap it up in a second. Let's get Exodus 17 and 9 because we got to see this balance. Right? We got to see some balance. Exodus 17 and 9.
The book of Exodus, chapter 17 and verse 9. And Moshe said unto Joshua, choose us out men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of Yahuwah in my hand. So Joshua did as Moshe had said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moshe, Aharon, and Hur went up to the top of the hill.
So they went to go fight Amalek, right? He had this rod in his hand. I want y'all to picture this in your mind. Go ahead.
And it came to pass when Moshe held up his hand that Israel prevailed.
He said when he held up his hands, right? What happened? They was prevailing, right? Well, we know that the Most High don't like unjust weight, right? Read.
And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed.
So now when he dropping his hands, Amalek is prevailing because this is not a perfect weight. This is unjust. Even if he's fighting a battle for us, right? He always fought our battles for us. But with him showing something that was lopsided, that ain't how I want it. I want it perfect. Read.
But Moshe's hands were heavy and they took a stone and put it under him.
They took a what?
A stone and put it under him.
They took a stone or a rock and did what?
And put it under him.
And put it under him.
And
who was the rock? So whenever it get a little topsy-turvy, you feeling like you off, guess who he giving you to stand you up? Hamashiach. He said, look, I need you to be perfect. I gave you a way to be perfect. Read.
And he sat thereon. And Aharon and Hur stayed up his hands.
They did what?
They stayed up his hands.
They stayed up his hands until when?
The one on the one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun.
So we won this battle, right? Right? Who else had their hands stayed up? Hamashiach had his hands stayed up. Could you imagine if he didn't get up there? We'd be stuck. We wouldn't be here right now. So we see that this is a similitude of what Hamashiach had to come do. He had to come stay his hand up for us to prevail, for us to live. Like the scripture said, if you feeling like you can't do this thing, you always got Hamashiach to see, hey man, I can actually be perfect. I can actually look. He made a way. Right? We don't have no excuse. Get Romans 6 and 1. Yeah. Get that Proverbs real quick. No, not the Proverbs. We're going to drop the Proverbs. No. Get Romans 6 and 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 6 and verse 1. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Yah forbid.
Even though he gave you this rock that you can stand on for you to, do that mean take advantage of it? Absolutely not. Right? Go ahead.
How shall we, that are dead to sin, live any longer therein?
How you gonna be dead to sin and continue to live? That's not just. That's not balanced. Read verse 4.
Verse 4. Therefore, we are buried with him by baptism into the death, like that as Hamashiach was raised up from the dead by the esteem of the Father. Even so, we should also walk in the newness of life.
So he says, walk in the newness of life. We're going to do something right quick. We're going to wrap it up after this. Get Leviticus chapter 26 and pick it up at verse 1. All right. We get Romans 6 and 12.
Leviticus 26 and 1. Ye shall make you no idols, nor graven images, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it. For I am Yahuwah your power. Ye shall keep my Shabbat and reverence my sanctuary. I am Yahuwah.
So he said, keep his Shabbat, reverence his sanctuary, right? Keep his rest, reverence Hamashiach, because he is our little sanctuary. We know that, right? Go ahead.
If ye walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then I will give you rain in the due season.
I will give you what?
I will give you rain in the due
He said,
season.
I'm going to give you rain in the due season. That's the spirit that he was going to give us, right? Even though this is taught, this is in Leviticus 26, he's telling you about something future, right? Drop down to verse 12.
Verse 12. And I will walk among you and will be your people, your power, and ye shall be my people. I am Yahuwah your power, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt.
He brought us out of the land of Egypt. What does Egypt represent, everybody? It represents bondage, right? It represents slavery. Showing you that we were servants unto Egypt, right? Go ahead.
That ye should not be their bondmen.
That you should not be their servants, right? Go ahead.
I have broken the bands of your yoke.
I have broken the bands of your yoke. Read.
And made you upright.
He made you upright. So he took us out of Egypt. We was in the world of sin. We didn't have no guidance, right? Read Romans chapter 6 and verse 12.
The book of Romans, chapter 6 and verse 12.
He says, I have broken your bands and made you upright. He took us away from Egypt, away from bondage, away from sin to make us upright. Let's see the fulfillment of that. Go ahead.
Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body.
Let it not what?
Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body.
Don't let it take kingship or authority over you. Read.
That you should obey it in the lust thereof. Neither yield your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but yield yourself unto Yahuwah as those that are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness unto the Most High.
Verse 14.
For sin shall not have dominion
It shall
over
not
you.
have what?
Dominion over you.
When we were in Egypt, when we were in bondage, they had dominion over us, right? We were their property, right? Read.
For you are not under the law.
You are not what?
Under the law.
But
under grace.
he just told you in verse 1, shall we commit sin that grace may abound? We know that law he's talking about is the law of death, right? Go ahead.
What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? Yah forbid.
Verse 16.
Know you not that to whom you yield yourselves servants to obey?
So once we was under the Egyptians, we had to serve the Egyptians, right? So he says, whoever you yield yourself servants to, you have to what?
His servants, you are to whom you obey.
You are servants to whom you obey, whether it's what?
Whether of sin unto death,
Whether of sin unto death or what?
or of obedience unto righteousness.
Read.
But the Most High be thanked that you were servants that you were the servants of sin.
The Most High think that we were the servants of sin. We were the servants of the Egyptians. Why? Because he performed his miracle in front of our eyes. He took us up out of the land and gave us an avenue for us to be upright. Read.
But you have obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine which was delivered you, being then made free from sin.
Being made free from what?
From sin.
We was made free from Egypt to make us upright. We were made free from sin. Read.
You became the servants of righteousness.
You became the servants of righteousness. So we don't have an excuse on why our balance should look like that. We don't have a choice in the matter either, because it's either life or death. Keep going.
Verse 18. Being then made free from sin, you become the servants of righteousness. I speak after the manner of men because of the infirmity of your flesh.
Your what?
Of your flesh.
Go ahead.
For as you have yielded your members servants to uncleanness and to iniquity, and to iniquity unto iniquity, even so now yield your members servants to righteousness, unto Kodesh.
Verse 20.
For when you were the servants of sin, you were free from righteousness.
When you was the servants of sin, you was free from righteousness, right? But what does Hamashiach tell you? In John chapter 8. Get John 8:22 right quick. You was a servant of sin, meaning you was free from righteousness. You ain't had no righteousness in you, right? John 8, 32.
John 8 and 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
But you are made free through the truth. Through Hamashiach, right? Ain't no reason for us to have no false balance. Last script. Get Titus 1 and 16. You get Titus 1 and 16. Proverbs 11.
Titus what?
Titus 1 and 16.
The book of Titus, chapter 1 and verse 16. They profess that they know the Most High, but in works they deny him.
You profess that you know him, but in works you deny him. Your balance off. Read.
Being abominable.
Being what?
Abominable.
Being detestable in his sight. Read.
And disobedient. And unto every good work, reprobate.
Unto every good work. What?
Reprobate.
Lean into your own understanding. Now you just stuck in your ways. Your balance is off. Proverbs 11 and 1.
Proverbs 11 and 1. A false balance is abomination to Yahuwah,
But what?
but a just weight is his delight.
So let's make sure we got a perfect and just weight so we can be the delight of Yahuwah. We in agreement? Any questions?
Now, when we was in Romans chapter 6, now we was talking about what we was reading about under grace. Can you explain that under grace? Because I know the Christians do that a lot about when they try to say, right now we're under grace.
But
Now, because it was like in Egypt, like you said, they under grace, right? They were saying that right now.
in Egypt, we came out of Egypt, right? The grace portion is the fact that we was able to get up out of there, right? We made it out of there. We went through the wilderness, but the grace was obtained after we kept his law. He told us what? Put the blood on the door, right? Now I'm going to save you from the death that's to come, right? You could have been serving iniquity the whole time while you was in Egypt, but because you followed after his commandment, you made it out of there. He spared you when he didn't have to, right? So that's the same thing now. Go back to Romans chapter 6. Romans 6 and 1, you get Romans 3:31. Read that out. 6 and 1.
Romans chapter 6 and verse 1. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound?
So we know, in Hebrews 10 and 26, we know that under our old customs before Hamashiach hit the scene, right? Whenever you committed sin and somebody saw you committing sin and it was a sin worthy of death, what happened? You were stoned to death, right? There wasn't no grace for that. You were killed. You could have been living your whole life in righteousness. You commit adultery, and it's a wrap for you. You know what I'm saying? But read what you got. Hebrews 10 and get verse 27.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 27. But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. He that despises Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses.
So they died without mercy. It wasn't no grace involved. You was up out of here, right? Under 2 or 3 witnesses. Read.
Of how much sore punishment suppose you?
He said, so how much sore punishment suppose you, now that I'm allowing you to make it without getting put to death? I sent my son to take that death on for you. Get Romans 3 and 23. Read what you got, Al. 31.
Romans 3 and 31. Do we then make void the law through faith? The Most High forbid.
Do we make then void the law through faith? He forbid, right? What do?
Yea, we establish the law.
So when the Christian church is telling you, oh, we under grace, we ain't got to keep the law, that's an absolute lie. Because he told you, we established the law. But we still got to keep this into account. Read what you got.
For the wages of sin is death.
The wages of sin ain't changed. It's still death, right? Remember, he says that he died for our sins that were past. But the ones that you committing now, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Your grace period is running out, right? Get me Romans 9. Now, is it to say that because you have committed iniquity, now that he's just going to absolutely put you to death?
Well, let me rephrase that. Now, what I was trying to say was when they meant like under grace, he was saying by when they had to put the blood on the doors for them to escape. I mean, not escape, for them to escape the death of the firstborn. That's what they're talking about.
No, go back. Let's go back to Romans 6. Romans 6 and 23. Okay.
The book of Romans, chapter 6 and verse 23. For the wages of sin is death.
What?
For the wages of sin is death.
So the wages of sin is death, right? In order to recompense the sin, there had to be death, right? Jump back and go read verse 3, chapter 6 and verse 3.
Verse 3. Know you not that so many of us as were baptized into Yahushua HaMashiach were baptized into his death.
So if the wages of sin are death and we were baptized into his death, that means the wage was paid, right? Okay, so the penalty of breaking the law was death, right? So we are, because that penalty had been paid, we are no longer under the penalty. You follow what I'm saying? It's just like we was talking about with the bill collector. If the bill collector call you and say, Sister Zakari, you owe us, X amount of dollars. And you like, yo, Yahushua already gave you X amount of dollars. Oh, okay, well, you good, because you already paid your penalty. The penalty has already been paid. So now we can't come after you no more for what was owed because the debt's been paid. So now we no longer under the penalty of the law, which was death. You're under grace because it was forgiven. That's when you read this whole thing, it's talking about the fact that we was baptized into the same death that the Mashiach suffered. He paid the wage. That paid the wage. So now we're not under that penalty no more. We received grace and we're forgiven those sins because the wage was paid. Right?
Cool. Any more questions? Comments? Look like you got something on your mind.
It's really deep right here. It's really like symbolic of the whole nation, him dying and being risen again, because he died for the nation, which paid the wages of sin for the whole nation, but then being raised again. Now we, like it says in verse 8.
Now if we be dead with Hamashiach, we believe that we shall also live with him.
So when he was raised back up, now we live with him. We died with him, and now we live with him, right? So now we back alive. The sin of the penalty of the law has been paid. We no longer under that penalty. We under the grace because it's been forgiven by his death, the whole nation. Now we live with him.
Back to this watching TV. I have to say this, y'all. Now, okay, I said it was just TV, just TV. But just because we thought it was okay, we committed sin because we thought it, even though it's
Romans
just
chapter
TV.
1. I got you. You finish your thought. I got you.
I mean, I mean, is it
It's
bad,
only
you know?
entertainment.
Romans
Yeah.
1 and
Yeah,
I got you.
that's right.
Yeah, you know.
It's just showing how it manifested into you.
Romans 1 and
You know what I'm saying?
29.
That's what it is. It's manifesting into you.
Right.
Just like when we used to see, the whole thing is we hate the system so bad. So when we see somebody that murdered somebody or something, and he trying to get away on the news or something, we actually rooting for him to get away. You know what I'm saying? That's off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We've been taught in movies to root for the villain. For the guy that's doing all the evil, we rooting for him. So everybody come up want to be Scarface. And this guy that murdered up everybody. So it manifests into your own life.
It's desensitizing you. The same thing with the homosexual stuff, right? Used to be, if you seen that in public, first of all, they wouldn't display it in public because back in the day, people used to get killed for that, right? Now they push it on television and they desensitize you to it, even on kids shows, to make people think in their head. And so you see it so much, it become normal. And you say, well, that's just, you know. So now when your kids see two men or two women holding hands in public, they don't even ask because they know. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. They desensitize. So the same thing. If they desensitizing you to sin, so if somebody come to you, like say a friend come to you and they say, well, he beating on me, he hitting on me, you know what I'm saying? But this other guy, he's so nice to me. So go on with the other guy, but but this her husband. He doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? He doing wrong.
Right.
But it's like you desensitized to the fact that there's really sin for you to. Absolutely. But you feel like, oh well, he doing her bold, so it's okay. But it's not okay. You know, it's certain steps that you have to go through in order to do the right thing in a situation like that.
So, when you watching these movies, just watch and don't even think.
Well, you gotta watch.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm just trying to.
But
I'm trying not to.
as you watch, you have to recognize what's going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not get so caught up in the entertainment factor that you don't recognize, like, oh man, that was, you know what I'm saying?
They be looking at me like I'm crazy. They'll be sitting down there. I'm like, y'all happy about that? Just committed adultery. Read that. It's about to answer your question. Romans 1 and start at verse 29.
The book of Romans, chapter 1 and 29.
Oh, but he loved her. He about to die.
Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness.
Don't you see all this stuff on TV? And all these TV shows? Read.
Maliciousness, full of envy.
Full of what?
Full of envy.
Murder. You see them killing each other, like you say, how to get away with murder? You actually rooting for the dude who did it. Like, man, I wonder if dude got away. Right? Go ahead.
Debate, deceit, malignity whisperers. Malignity whisperers, backbiters.
Man, did you see such and such? She was talking about such and such, and da-da-da-da. And girl, they got into it. They start fighting it. You start to become a part of this stuff, right? Go ahead.
Haters of the Most High.
Do what?
Haters of the Most High.
If you see somebody that's openly gay, they can't love the Most High. You see somebody openly doing drugs and killing people, all this stuff on TV, they openly hate the Most High. Like, they not, like you said, they not hiding it, right? Read.
Proud, boasters, inventors of evil things.
Inventors of what?
Inventors of evil things. Disobedient to parents.
See this on TV a whole lot now, right?
Oh, this is that same show.
Right.
Without understanding. Covenant breakers.
Covenant what?
Covenant breakers.
That man was in the covenant with his woman that he was espoused to, right? He broke it, right?
Without natural affection. Implacable. Unmerciful. Who, knowing the judgment of the Most High.
Every single last one of us know the judgments for these things according to the Most High, right? Go ahead.
That they which commit such things are worthy of death.
These people, even though it's supposed to be fictitious, these people are worthy of death. These reality TV shows, these people are worthy of death.
Not only do the same,
Not only those people that do them, but what?
but have pleasure in them that do them.
But every single last one of us that got pleasure in seeing them do these things also are worthy of death.
Right, so Barbara
Shouldn't have put that drug in our drink though.
So, now we know this because we've just been taught. And anytime we do these things after we just been taught, be accountable. Right? Okay. I just want to say that out.
Did you know beforehand?
Well, not like you put it. I mean, watching TV and
It's not. It's about the content in which you're taking in. You still have to keep the mind of the Most High Hamashiach. You know what I'm saying? Like, I choose not to watch certain things in order to keep me away because I'm human like everybody else, right? So if I watch these things and it make me feel a certain type of way, I gotta stay away from it because I don't want to be a part of that. If I sin in my conscience, I might as well be doing this sin. You know what I'm saying? There's no even reason for me to even be a part of that. You know what I'm saying?
Get emotionally attached to that stuff.
Yeah, this stuff is like crack to people. People get together, man. Hey, y'all coming over so we can watch this? Y'all coming over? Girl, did you see that?
Yes.
You start to make it. You start to become a part of what you watching.
Get emotionally attached. Just like sports though.
Yeah.
Just like sports.
yeah,
People get
yeah. Why we looking around?
Hey,
You talking
look.
about-
Hold up. In defense to sports. In defense to sports. There's nothing wrong with putting a basketball in a rim.
But no,
There's no sin attached.
I say this like this. Say you get emotionally attached just like sports. Like sports ain't nothing but reality TV. It's set up so it's gonna go one way or the other. But it's to keep you entertained and to keep you distracted from what's going on. So when you get mad and be like, Tom Grammy, Russell Wilson threw the interception, and you get pissed because you emotionally attacked, but at the same time, like I said, it's the same thing. You watch it, but at the same time, you recognize that this is fixed. No matter what sport it is, it's all fixed.
Hey, hold up, wait. In defense. Listen. In defense.
Thou shalt give the ball to beast mode in the red zone.
Listen.
It's
Hold
fixed.
on. And I agree with the odd to an extent. In defense, there is still no sin attached to that.
And the other shows.
I got a question for that. You like sports?
For me, I dip and dab a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Not too much. I float around basketball, football. Do I like them? No, I don't even watch them that much.
Yeah, all right.
Now, I mean, whoever. Like, I wonder if they playing basketball. It's your favorite team and stuff, right? And then he probably, you know what I'm saying? You know how they be doing the little tricks and stuff, doing like this, make they thing like that. Like, you foul him, and y'all just like, you didn't foul him, but y'all be like trying to, say y'all play the sides like it's cheap, but y'all know he fouled, so y'all ever like feel the type of way?
No, I can't. I actually, me personally, I tell the truth both ways. I set myself on it. Yo, man, we got it.
My thing is this:
You know what I'm saying?
you rooting for all these sports guys. Well, you know, behind the scenes, they ankle grabbers.
Not all of them.
Everybody sound like Macabees, don't it? Except for Tupac. Everybody but Tupac.
That's why I've been pulled myself out of it. Because I used to be a fanatic.
They take and make idols of the player.
Right, absolutely.
That's the sin.
Yep. Idolatry.
Who make that?
The sport. The sport.
Everybody loves Michael Jordan.
I wanna be like mine.
True.
So wait a
True.
I'm sorry, Sister Pat. You said watching sports is like idolatry. Yeah, because they're idolatry.
Well, when you get to, like I said, if you don't recognize what's really going on and you get to idolizing these players, it's
And you get to what?
I just said it.
No, I'm talking about Carter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you get to what?
And you get to idolizing these players.
And you start to commit the sin. See, the whole thing, what I'm saying about watching TV is when you get sucked into it,
Right.
and you start to say,
No
"Oh,
matter
that's
what it
right,"
is.
when it's really wrong.
No matter if it's sports,
That's when you walk.
empire,
You
or
just gotta
scandal,
be conscious on what you do.
or love and hip hop.
What about if you always trying to see it every week when it comes on? That's
Nah.
that's not form of idolizing.
What
I
is
don't
it?
think so.
Huh?
I don't think
Wait,
so.
say again.
Say if the game comes on, there's a game on every Sunday. You got to see that game every Sunday. That's a form of idolizing.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
It depends. Like I
That's
said,
just like
it all
going bowling
depends.
every Sunday. If you go bowling every Sunday, are you idolizing bowling?
It depends. Like I said,
Idolize
once you get attached to it emotionally, and you to the point where you can't let it go, it's just like any other vice. You know what I'm saying?
Then you take it too far. If that's the
So if
case.
you come on that Sunday, you can't see it. You get upset about it. You have idolized that sport.
If it ruins, if your team loses and it ruins your day, you are messed up. Put it out there.
True story.
If it's ruining your day and you don't know what to do and you walking around, oh my
True
goodness,
story.
you are messed up.
Yes, you are.
If
I
you
agree.
watch the awards and Beyonce don't win, you are messed up. It's just that simple.
I particularly don't even have cable for that reason. Because I'm picky about the shows that I even watch on regular TV. Because if you can get into idolatry so easy, like that show, How to Commit Murder without whatever.
How to get away with murder?
Yes, you know, and somebody is in there and he's figuring out how you gonna murder somebody. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be real careful with
Right.
that.
They give people ideas. So we gotta burn the body to get rid of the DNA.
So if, boy, you knocked out my Pacquiao, but you ruined our day.
Mine? Absolutely not. Like, look, I'm gonna just say, my wife just posed this question about who gonna win. I say, I don't know. I don't care. You know, about Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao.
The only thing that's consistent is that it's fixed. Whoever gonna win is gonna benefit the people who making the money. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
They don't lose. No matter who lose, they don't lose.
Go ahead.
Go back to what Brother Mark was saying. He's saying that you gotta watch the game.
Hold it down, y'all. Hold it down.
Brother's saying that you know if you watch the game every Sunday, that's idolatry. I don't agree with that because in that case, Sister Tracy's committed idolatry. Because she watches us every Shabbat.
But she learning the truth.
Right, it's it. You supposed to get it. This is supposed to be addicted.
That was a joke, y'all. That was a joke. That was a joke. No, but to be honest though, whatever you do it in moderation. You know what I'm saying? And be conscious of what you're getting yourself involved in. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether it be sports, reality TV, movies, all of these things. Be mindful of what you're doing, saying, and how you're acting behind it.
I'm gonna go back to myself. I grew up on a Magic Johnson fan, right? I was a Magic Johnson
His
fan.
name was Magic?
Right. Exactly. He was a wizard.
Right.
But I grew up, I tried to do everything like him. Walk like him, shoot like everything. I was consumed with this. Every Sunday they played, I had my Magic Johnson book in my arm. Oh man, they losing. I need to put my arm. Don't y'all come down here. I'm listening. You know what I'm saying? My mama and them over there, they can attest to it. I don't want nobody coming out here because they just went on a 25-5 run and y'all made them lose. Straight up. So this time I believed it to the core. You know what I'm saying? To the core. And then when they said he had AIDS, I cried like a baby. Like I knew this man. Straight up. This is real. because I was completely into it, enthralled in it. I couldn't wait. Every time the news, I'll go. This before ESPN and all this stuff. I'm going to buy the newspaper. I got to see the stats because the Lakers used to play the late games, so I got to see. Oh boy, Magic had a triple-double, 25 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. Woohoo! He killed him. This is a fanatic, and I act like I know this man personally, and he don't care nothing about. Then I see him on these things doing this stuff with his hands. He a part of this stuff. They paying him to do this. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't pay attention to it no more. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff, bro. Now look at his son. His son walking around like a real life Madir.
Look like Madir.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, anybody that likes sports, stay away from his testimony.
What about the Lions law?
Man, he like a woman. He dressed like a woman.
Super fruit cake.
Used to do exactly what
No.
stats. You got to look at the paper every day.
No.
Who was team one? Yes, they did.
How?
Y'all didn't
Your husband may have.
You didn't.
No.
Y'all didn't want to see who won every
We knew. It wasn't that. It wasn't like it was like one of these. I got that habit. It wasn't like that.
Calling me, man. You calling me.
You know what I'm saying?
I know a wife said it's like basketball. Said me, I don't know about like a boxer. I want to be like Muhammad Ali. And I love this like cage fighting. I want to be like I can try to act like
Can you do the 1 inch punch, the 5 fingers of death? Can't do it? You wasn't no true fan.
He ain't not
Can't do that 1 inch punch. You ain't. What was it called? All right. That's no more questions.
Dealing with sports, every time my husband watching it, I get mad for the simple fact knowing that one man is making this much money, and we got people out here starving to death, homeless. It pisses me off just to think about that. No, these people making all this money. It's crazy. So for that simple fact, I don't really want to watch it.
Backwards.
It makes me mad.
Backwards. Again, these grown men is out here playing a game.
Catch up, he's a baller.
So if you hooked on sports,
You hooked on anything.
You hooked on anything. It ain't unless it's hooked on y'all.
I rushed to see Empire on, is it Wednesday? And on Tuesday, I rushed to see what's
She like the have and the have not.
The have and the have
The
not.
whole nine.
I do. I rush to watch those things. Those are my entertainments. I like to watch these pictures. But now I see that in everything that I do, I have to keep y'all in mind.
There's
My
a
shot
balance.
in mind because I'm like you said, I'm thinking the wrong thing.
You like, yeah, cookie.
It's a balance to everything, man. If it outweigh this, you already losing. You already losing.
What about?
I was gonna say though, like the money that Floyd Mayweather making, he make more money than any other athlete. He just a boxer.
Yeah. He throw more money away than I make in a couple years.
Couple years.
I'm saying yes, you're right.
Balance.
Yeah.
You might have to